So Caelan, fresh off the back of a big win at the weekend, and you've got the scars to show for it as well. How are you feeling after a very impressive win against Australia?
Feeling good now, two or 3 days on. This time last week, obviously off the back of the first 80 minutes, I was still fairly in bits, but you get accustomed quite quickly. So we're just off the back of a good training session there, a little bit indoors and then outside, braving the elements. But no, got through some good work, so building into our big day tomorrow, ahead of what's going to be an exciting battle on Saturday.
From a team point of view at the weekend, it just seemed like everything came together. We've seen it maybe in small little patches against New Zealand and Japan, and even maybe dating back into the Six Nations campaign, but it felt like this was the first time in a while when all those elements kind of came together in the one game.
I think so, yeah. I think there's more consistency across attack, defence, set piece obviously has been a work on. Discipline as well was better. So like you say, it all kind of came together, and I think what helped with that was the fast start. Obviously Mac coming back in the 15 shirt and with a brace with 3 early on. So yeah, we got a nice foundation. They obviously showed their quality in that kind of middle section either side of half time. But I think the way we finished against Japan, but also last week was definitely pleasing. And with the bomb squad that South Africa have a lot of confidence in, we're going to need to finish the game strong as well this week.
You spoke before the match about kind of getting a little bit of inspiration by the soccer team on Thursday night, and I know obviously Sunday was Sunday as well, but judging off the atmosphere in the crowd and the energy you had, that didn't really seem like empty words.
No, and what I'd said was that the way the football team played with passion and a lack of fear, just attacking the game, inspired the crowd and got them in behind them, and we wanted a bit of that. And yeah, it felt like that came at times, definitely. The atmosphere was class. You hear Sweet Caroline being sung as we're going down for a scrum, and that definitely gives you a lift and makes a difference. I think the evening kickoff is conducive to a better atmosphere, and we're hoping for the same again with a 5:40 kickoff this weekend, so looking forward to hearing them behind us.
You'll certainly need that level of atmosphere at the weekend again, and that level of performance from Australia. I mean, talk about a perfect time for things to click, because if ever there's a team where you're going to need to be on it, it's South Africa.
Definitely, I think momentum has built nicely over the last couple of weeks. From a good result against Japan, not quite the performance, to a better performance and good result. So look, it feels like we're moving in the right direction, but no better way to test that than against South Africa, the world champions, rugby champions this year. Yeah, they've obviously beaten everyone over the last number of months, so yeah, we're testing ourselves against the best in the world, and what a place to do it at home in the Aviva. We've had some good results against them over the last number of years, and the basis for those results has been the collision and being dominant physically, or at least matching and going beyond physically, so that's going to be a key focus area.
It's been one of the great rivalries of the last few years. A few wins in Dublin, obviously the Test Series last summer. Going back to the Test Series in 2024, and particularly that second Test when Andy had kind of challenged you quite publicly to stand up and be counted. And I just remember being at that game. I think that the first 20-30 minutes were, from a physicality point of view, unlike anything I've seen in my life. Can you tell us a little bit about that day?
Yeah, it was touched on this morning as well, but you look at Test 1 and we're probably a little bit off physically, a little bit passive, a little bit reactive, letting things unfold in front of us. As you say, there was some strong words and some big meetings that week ahead of Test 2, and things just went up another level. Felt like a cauldron there in Durban. And I think even going back further to 2023, to the World Cup, 2022, having them here in the Aviva again, it's always like there's some tackles in there that just come to mind straight away. The physicality is always right up there. But I think with Tony Brown coming in and running the attack, there's more dimensions to what they have now. It's not all about set piece, it's not all about winning the kind of one-off collisions and runners. They've got the ability to play wide and deep and spread it with their very dangerous back three, so it's going to be a full defensive challenge for us.
Are South Africa a more rounded team than the one you toured against in 2024?
I think so. I think they've improved, yeah. That was obviously the very start of Tony Brown's evolution with their attack, and yeah, I think they've come on strides there. Like, I've been very impressed with how they've gone with 14 men as well against Italy and against France the previous week. So they've showed quality there, but throughout the rugby championship as well. So yeah, like I say, it's going to be a test for our defence. We feel our defence has improved each week as we've gone so far, but this is another challenge altogether.
Has something like the URC kind of maybe added a little layer to the rivalry between South Africa, that a lot of the players now are just coming across each other on a bit more regular basis?
Probably, yeah. There's kind of a new dimension with the URC, and there's a familiarity there as well. Obviously, with Leinster, we've played Bulls quite a few times, URC final last year, so there's, yeah, like I say, a little bit more understanding of the players and the South African mentality.
On a personal level, do you feel like you're kind of back up to speed now, 3 matches in, kind of added minutes on minutes, week on week?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I feel there's no excuses at this stage. There wasn't any excuse a few weeks ago, but there's definitely not at this stage. So yeah, I'll be looking for a strong performance, definitely, personally.
To go back to Chicago a couple of weeks ago, was it kind of a bit of a mixed emotions for you? Relief at getting back out onto the pitch, and I suppose then the disappointment of just things didn't really come together for the team on the day?
Yeah, through the whole rehab period, that was the aim that I had in my head that I was targeting. Myself and Emma Gallivan, my physio, had that as our North Star throughout the whole period. So to get back was class. I was delighted to be involved, but as you say, the team performance and result obviously not so good. So yeah, definitely a mixed bag. On
the injury itself, obviously couldn't really have happened at a worse time for you. I remember after the Leinster and Northampton game, like, did you know quite soon after that game that a lot of damage had been done, or some very strange damage at the very least had been done? Yeah, it was an unfamiliar feeling. I haven't had many shoulder injuries in quite a few years anyway, so I was hopeful. I was pretty optimistic that it was something less major than it was, but got the news after a scan on Sunday evening. So definitely took me a few days to get over, but tried to frame it in a positive light and make the most of the period I had. Is it important when something like that happens to actually maybe allow yourself a couple of days to feel sorry for yourself and just get all of that out of the system? Definitely. I think it comes in waves a little bit, but if you don't allow it to flow through and process it, then for me anyway, I'd be stuck in a bit of a no man's land and feeling down and grey and pessimistic generally. So allow it to flow through and then see the positives in the situation. Obviously, you've spoken about what you went during the summer and went to your retreat in California and kind of switched yourself off from the lines. I was going to ask you about how you occupied your mind over the summer, but if anything, you probably actually cleared the mind out a little bit. Yeah, I think so. There was some reflection within rugby on how I've been going and areas for improvement, and excitement about kind of chasing down that potential that I still feel I've got quite a bit in me. But then there was also properly getting away from the game and some kind of deeper psychological work as well, aside from rugby, more kind of personal stuff. So yeah, like I say, I feel I used the period pretty well, and I'm happy with the place I'm in now. Did it give you a chance maybe to kind of, is your perspective on the game maybe a little bit different? Well, what I would have said to you guys a couple of weeks ago was kind of a bit more understanding of who I am away from what I do, and I think having a little bit more perspective as a result, and you can devote yourself to what you do when it's not all consuming and your whole worth is based on the game. So I think that's helpful. You've been able to kind of add a couple of newer players into the Ireland squad over these past weeks. How have those guys been doing? The likes of Tommy O'Brien, likes of Paddy McCarthy? Yeah, class. They've fitted right in. I think the environment we have is pretty welcoming to guys being themselves and enjoying it properly. I've known Tommy since we were about 12, obviously in the same year in school, so I've known that hunger he has and desire to make something happen, which you can see again these days. His involvement's off the wing and just really a desire to do good for the team. So he's been class, and Paddy as well has a kind of exuberance about him. It's his dream come true, as it is for a lot of us, but you can really see it with him coming into the environment, following in Big Brother Joe's footsteps, and yeah, the two of them love it. And just finally then, how higher of a level do you have to get to compared to what happened on Saturday? Saturday was very good, but does that have to get up an extra gear or two this week? Yeah, I think discipline needs to improve with the set piece game that South Africa are capable of playing. We don't want to give them opportunities there. Defensively, especially in the 22, we felt we were a little bit
gave it to them a little bit easy, some of their tries. When they got access in our 22, they rumbled on pretty well, so that's a big area of focus as well, defensively, properly fronting up and winning collisions, and then trusting in their attack and making things happen when we have the ball.
Thanks, Caelan. Good luck this week.